Hello dear friends and welcome. The tutorial actually begins at about 1.5 minutes into the video, but first I wanted to share some of my new fabric prints. The first is called Natural Curiosities, and this is available in several colorways. The first one here features bright colors on a dark background, the second is a light grayish purple, and the third features again a dark background but this time with more neutral colors. Fabric is called Indoor Jungle and features line-drawn silhouettes of houseplants. The second version features various shades of green houseplants, again on a white background. Next fabric was actually adapted from an ink illustration I had done, and originally I wasn't thinking about putting it on fabric, but I kind of like the way it turned out. This print is called Prairie Lullaby, and this is the lavender and vanilla colorway. It features silhouettes of prairie wildflowers, butterflies, and moons. The second version features a black print on a light orchid background. And now let's get on to the tutorial. For this project you'll need a zipper, thread, fabric, shears, and a sewing machine. You'll need 2 rectangles of fabric for the outside of the pouch, 2 for the lining, and they'll all be the same size. The width of the rectangle is determined by the length of your zipper tape, and the height is up to you, but be sure to add about 1/2 inch or so for seam allowance. First, lay your zipper along the top edge of your outer fabric with the top side of the zipper facing down. Now, place one of your lining pieces on top of this. The right sides of the outer fabric and your liner fabric should be facing each other. Pin along the top, making sure that the edges of the zipper, the lining, and the outer fabric are evenly aligned. Before stitching, you might want to double check to be sure everything is in place. When you open your fabric, it should look something like this, with the top or outer part of your zipper against your outer fabric. Now, carefully stitch along this top edge, removing your pins as you go. You might want to use a zipper foot, but sometimes you can simply move your needle's position to ensure that you get close enough to the zipper. This seam allowance is about 3/8 of an inch, or somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch. Now you should have something that looks like this. You will essentially be repeating the steps you just took. So with your second piece of outer fabric lying right side up, place your zipper along the top edge. At this point you might want to unzip your zipper to make sure you don't get the other side of your pouch caught when you're pinning or sewing. Notice that again the outer or top side of your zipper is against the outer or right side of your fabric. Also, the 2 right sides of your outer fabric pieces will be facing at this point. Again, lay your second lining piece on top of the zipper, and with the 3 edges lined up, pin and then stitch. Now, if you did not unzip your zipper before, it's very important that you do it at this point. With your zipper open, position your pouch so that the 2 outer pieces are together and that the 2 lining pieces are together. Again, you must have your zipper open at least partially at this point. Pin along all the edges. When pinning at the 2 edge points where the zipper meets the fabric, be sure that the zipper tape is folded toward the lining or away from the outside. Once you're done pinning, stitch along the entire edge using about 1/4 or 1/2 inch seam allowance. But be sure to leave an opening at the bottom edge of the lining fabric. This opening should be about 3 or 4 inches. Clip your corners. You will want to get close to the stitching, but be careful to not cut through it. Now you're ready to turn your pouch right side out. Sometimes it's helpful to use a chopstick or knitting needle to carefully push the corners out. Now it's time to close the opening in your lining. You could simply fold the seam in and top stitch, or you can do it by hand. I'm stitching this by hand using a ladder stitch. To do this, anchor your thread, stitch at one side, then pick up a stitch on the next side and continue alternating. Gently pull it close together as you go. and then tie it off once you reach the end. Once you're finished stitching, stuff your lining back in. Now you can take an iron and press the pouch, paying special attention to the seams and corners. Once you master this basic pouch, there are so many variations, alterations, and embellishments you can use to make an endless array of accessories. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this and would love to know, what do you want to see next? Comment below or reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram. You can find my links in the video description, as well as links to the fabric shown in this video.